All right, good day, Country Club Hills residents. I have a very special guest with me today. I'm sure you guys recognize his face. It is a pleasure for me to be talking to Renelle Nicole. And we're going to get into just a little bit about her career. Particularly, it's taken a pretty amazing expansion, if you will, television, film, stage, and so on. But perhaps the most exciting thing for me is that she's one of our own residents here in the city of Country Club Hills. We go way back to summer camp.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So we go back. But she's come a long way, and I'm very excited to be speaking with her about her career. So listen, we're going to take a quick break and give you guys a chance to let a few folks know that we're doing this interview, and we'll be right back after this first message.
Why should I care about the 2020 census?
Every 10 years, the census counts everyone living in the U.S.
Count everyone living with you.
Even kids!
Our numbers help shape funding and services.
For all these things.
That's a lot of stuff.
Your responses are safe and secure.
No matter who you are or where you're from.
We have reasons to care. Shape your future. Start here at 2020census.gov.
All right, guys, we are back with Renelle Nicole. And again, thank you so much for sitting here chatting with me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. All right, so you actually started acting at 5.
Yeah.
So now, what do you remember about that experience? Like, what's significant about it?
Lots and lots of auditions, lots of runs downtown, you know, me and my mom. And think about it, like you didn't have the address just on your phone, GPS and everything.
True,
so I remember that a lot. You know, going through, even like getting my lines faxed to me.
Oh, wow.
That's how it was back in the day.
Right,
like it would be faxed, I think, to my dad's job and then wait for him to come home from work.
Yeah.
And then I would have my lines and everything like that. But it was a lot of running around, leaving school early a lot.
Yeah.
Well, not a lot, but enough.
Yeah.
So those things stick out a lot to me.
All right, so during those times when you're getting faxes and all of this stuff, and even in the performances, at what point did it occur to you, you know what, Renelle, like, this is something that I want to commit to. This is something I can do.
Pretty early on, like I knew that I loved it instantly. After I booked, I want to say my first commercials when I was about 7. It was a McDonald's commercial. So I loved, like my whole family was there. It was just a fun experience. And so I didn't really understand exactly what I was doing, but I do know, like, okay, I'm going to be on TV and things like that. So I kind of fell in love with it then. And then when I tapped into musical theater, doing that a lot and just performing and feeling like, okay, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I think those were the moments that I finally realized, okay, I don't want life to be any other way. And so I, you know, kept going after it and took a little break for, you know, once I got older and everything. But once I became an adult, I went into the financial industry. I don't know how I ended up there. But you know, after college, you know, you told to get a job and everything. So I did that. And it wasn't until a couple of years I was like, okay, I need to really go back, you know, into my passion and everything like that. So it finally hit me like, this was your childhood dream. Let's go back to that. And so I left and here I am.
Here you are. Well, you know, you said something that's really very key. There are ups and downs. And folks don't understand it. You know, they see you in a friend request, which we're going to talk about in a bit, but they don't really know the journey getting to that point. They don't know the time off. They don't know the waiting for the callbacks. They don't know all of that. It's been some ups and downs, huh?
A lot of ups and downs. Like, you know, I've been at it since I was 5, and this is my first time being a lead, you know, in a film. I've had like one-liners here and there. Like I've done Empire a couple of times, Chicago Fire, but those are like all little things that just help build the resume. But this, you know, finally I got my first big role. But we hear a lot of no's along our journey. It's more no's than you hear yes. So you just have to like toughen up and kind of know that at the beginning. Kind of expecting a no. I mean, you always expect the best, but you don't ever want to fully invest like your feelings into it. Just think of it as work. Think of it as something you have to do every day to get to your goal. But there's a lot of just time given to this without even being paid. That happens a lot. I think I want to say maybe 80% of our work is unpaid work. You know, auditionings, you don't get paid for that. You're paying for gas though.
Exactly. Right, it's costing you. Right.
Exactly. But I mean, that's why you have to love it. That's absolutely why you have to love it, because that's what keeps, you know, the drive going and everything.
I can tell that you love it, just the energy that I'm getting from, you know, we talked before when you were doing some, I believe it was The Life of Dionne Warwick or something. Yeah. So you talked before, and even then I could feel the energy from you. All right, so throughout your amazing career, which is not very, very long, but throughout your career, you've done stage, you've done television, and so on and so forth. Let's talk about stage. You know, in interviewing you, I interviewed one of your good friends, Candace, and what we talked about is everyone has this little thing that they do, or something to kind of get them ready, get them in tune for the performance. You know, on stage you have an audience with real-time reaction. Yeah. So what is it that you do to kind of prepare for that?
I think when it comes to theater, for me, it depends on my role and how heavy it is. If it's something like I'm a lead, or even if I'm understudying the lead or something like that, I think I take that a little bit more serious, where I kind of more focus in the dressing room. But if it's something where I'm like in a show with my friends, my pre-show preparation is completely different. You know, we're having fun. I like to be loose, you know, a little bit before I go on stage. And I think it varies throughout the run of the performance. So in the beginning, I'm way more focused because the material is newer, it's fresher. So there's a lot more focus there because you want to start to get into a groove. And then as the show, you know, goes on, you're kind of used to everything, so the nerves kind of go away a little bit. Maybe there might be some vocal prep there, depending again on what I have to sing. Although I should be preparing no matter what I have to sing, but it all depends on how much of a load that I have for whatever particular character that it is. That kind of makes it vary. But I love to have fun. That's me.
You know, you mentioned the nerves and so on. Are you ever nervous?
Again, I think it kind of varies on what my role is. If there's a bigger responsibility, I'm a little bit more nervous in the beginning. I want to say, but then again, I'm weird with nerves. I try not to let them get the best of me because I know that'll interfere with, you know, being present and delivering. So that's why I prepare as much as I can before I even step on stage. So that way, that goes out of the way, you know, not thinking about nerves. But there's always the pre-show jitters, no matter what. No matter how comfortable you are in the role, you always kind of have those jitters, but again, that goes away once you get out there. So those are good nerves, because actually with me, vocally, it changes my range a little bit. I learn that, okay, I can't sing as low when I get on stage for some reason. If I'm in rehearsal, I'm a little bit more lax and everything like that, so my lower range is fine. But then when I get on stage, it shifts a little bit. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's, you know, the energy and everything, the adrenaline going, it shifts your range. It's crazy.
Interesting. Yeah, well, you make it look easy every time you perform. I've seen you plenty of times before. All right, so that handles on stage. Let's talk about in front of the camera. That's a completely different dynamic.
Indeed.
On stage, you've got real-time reaction. You've got folks showing you love. When you're in front of the camera, there's no one there but the production crew. They know all of your lines. You know exactly what you're supposed to do if you make a mistake, and so on and so forth. How do you focus and tune in when that's the dynamic you're working in?
For me, I you know, with having different kinds of training and everything, you know that like when you're performing on stage, there's a certain level that you have to speak at and everything like that. You have to reach all of those people. Then when you're on film, it's the complete opposite. You have to be small because you have to be captured within that lens. So it's a lot of still expressions, but everything's kind of in your face. So it's a bit of dialing back. And then my preparation for that is also a little bit different because you get the advantage of trying different things every take. You know, not every take, but you know, you have that opportunity to kind of create a little bit more. So I like that freedom a little bit, but then it's also the luxury of, you know, if I forget my line, I could just yell out line like.
The audience wouldn't do that for you.
You can't do that. So that calms you down a little bit more, but it also gives you a little bit more room to create. And probably why I like it a little better. All
right. Which I was going to ask you that.
Really?
So you prefer the on camera to the stage?
I do. So I love theater. I love getting the live reactions. I love that rush of like, whatever happens. This is what you're going to get, and challenging myself in that way. But when it comes down to film, I just feel like I'm able to sit in it a little bit more and to really, really build that character. And then also with, I remember while we were filming Friend Request, Tosin, who plays my husband, we got to, talk off camera a little bit about, trying this and trying that. And you can still do that in theater, but, it was more so different takes trying something. So that is fun because you get to create a little bit differently. And I love those still moments in the camera. Like, those are my favorite. Taking your beats and, taking your energy down a little bit, just let it all be in the eyes. I love those types of things. So that's kind of why I go. And I just like, being on camera. So.
Yeah, you're clearly a natural. I'm sure you guys would agree with that. All right, so you introduced a little bit of Friend Request. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So set us up. Talk about Friend Request.
All right, so Friend Request is an erotic thriller.
Okay.
So it's a lot of drama that happens. I play the role of Michelle, who is the wife, and basically her husband has accepted a friend request that he shouldn't have, and it has opened a door to a lot of drama. His ex-girlfriend kind of reappears into his life, and he just thinks it's going to be a quick meetup. Hey, how's life going? And it completely transforms his life. He puts his marriage at jeopardy, puts his career in jeopardy, and so it was kind of like when everything was on the up and up, it all just came crashing down. And so that's like the big twist of the movie, which I'm excited for everyone to see. A lot of people are thinking it's along the lines of the movie Obsessed, but I'm like, it's like it's the setup, sure, similar to it, but there's a huge twist that a lot of people are not going to be expecting. So it's a lot of drama going on.
All right, so now here you are, Michelle. She is not the one that's making the friend request. She's actually the one who is the wife of the person that requested and subsequently unlocks the door to all of this drama that ensues. All right. In looking at the character of Michelle, are there any similarities between Michelle and Renelle?
Yeah, a bit. So overall, like when I first heard of the character, they're like, she's bubbly, she's excited about life and everything. And so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's me. Like, I'm a little bubbly at times. So there's a lot of similarities there, and just like her being a loving person. She's actually like a stay-at-home mom, raising a kid and everything. I don't have any kids, anything yet. But just that energy and what she wants to do in life is kind of lines up with me as well. Now, there are some moments I was like, now, Michelle, why would you do this? I would disagree. That's another thing, too. I was fighting with some of the things that she was saying and doing. And me and the director, we had a conversation. I'm like, I just don't think most women would do this. Like, no one sees this. So we had, some similarities, but then we also had some differences as well. So overall, yes, she's similar to me. Her life is a little bit more advanced.
Of course.
than me. I don't have a 3-year-old or a husband. But in those ways, we can pretty much connect and be the same person.
All right, so you brought a trailer with you, of course, and we're going to check it out. So, you know what, I know you talked a little bit about it earlier, but set up the trailer and just kind of give us an idea of just what we're looking at.
All right, so this is the trailer of Friend Request. You will see who comes back into my husband Malik's life, and she just completely takes over. That's her breaking us up there, Vicky Judy. But yeah, she comes on in and breaks up everything, and you can kind of see all of that unfolding and him realizing that he made a huge mistake. So here's the trailer.
To the baddest ADA Chicago has ever seen, my main man, Malik Tucker.
Who is Raina?
It's just an old girlfriend who sent me a friend request.
Good morning, love.
This never happened.
Your awesome wife just got hired to cater another event. I want you to meet Raina.
Did Raina say what she's gonna do about the father?
It's either her and the baby, or she's gonna tell his wife.
Malik? Malik! Please don't judge me.
Michelle!
I've been incredibly emotional these days.
Let my wife go. Michelle!
We're meant to be together.
No.
All right, so again, yeah, amazing trailer. It almost made me just want to rush right out and see the film at that moment.
Yeah.
Excellent work on your part. I will
Thank
add, even in the trailer, just amazing, and I'm sure that you're going to do many, many, many great things moving ahead. All right, so let's talk about social media. Let's talk about friend requests.
Yeah.
That is a big thing among not just millennials, but even beyond generations before, and so on. All right. What are, in your opinion, some common mistakes that people make when it comes to using social media?
I think sometimes we just put too much of our lives out there. You know, our every move sometimes, and no matter where you are, you want to post that location. And there are creeps out there.
Yes.
You know, I think we forget that sometimes, and that's kind of what we stumbled upon in the film. Was that my life was out there. You'll see as you watch how my life and what I posted on social media tied into the story. So it's just not being so trusting of everyone.
Okay.
And so with him, of course, he's looking at it as an ex-girlfriend. I don't know how she ended up on my social media, but she found some things too. So just, you know, we need to be a little bit you know, more knowledgeable of what we're putting out there, and protect yourself.
Yeah, indeed. Like, so what are some best practices? You know, I'm sure that you get DMs from time to time. You get folks liking pictures, making comments, and trying to make a connection. What are some best practices just for all folks in terms of using this?
I would say if you can keep your page private, do so. Me, on the other hand, because of, you know, my career and everything, I have to keep mine open, which is why, like, my Facebook is a little bit more private, and I'm a little bit more, you know, cautious of who I accept. So I just say, you know, think about everything. Think about your future, and know what you're posting, and know that that's sent out into cyberspace. So I would just say be very, very cautious and mindful of what you're putting out there. And then, you know, still have fun with it. Still make your page look, you know, fun and presentable. I think there's a way to everything. It's just, I think, figure out what type of image you're trying to put out there, and be mindful of, again, your future and everything like that. So.
Indeed. Well, having said that, we're going to release your social media information to our audience. You guys behave out there. I'm not playing. All right.
I've had some DMs, baby.
All right. So how can people connect with you on social media?
All righty. So my Instagram handle is @Renelle Nicole. That's RENELLE, Nicole, NICOLE, as well as my Facebook. And my Twitter is @Renelle Nicole _. I don't know who out there on Twitter has my name, and they're not even using it. I was so mad. I'm like, how do I talk to Twitter about this? Like, they don't even use the page, and now I have to have an underscore. So Twitter's an underscore.
Okay, awesome. All right, so guys, we got it on the screen there for you. So that's how you follow Renelle. And of course, the question that we've all been waiting for: when and where can we see friend requests?
Yes, you can catch friend requests on BET and BETher on July 11th at 8/7 Central.
That's what I'm talking about. It is going to be amazing. I'm
so
sure that
excited.
folks are going to just rush to their screens to check you out. Boy, we're so proud of you here in Country Club Hills.
Thank you so much. I'm proud to be from here. I say it all the time. Like, so I consider myself to be a Chicago actress. Of course, that's what I have to say. You know, and that's where everything is. I am a Chicago actress. But when it comes down to where I'm from, I'm like, I'm from Country Club Hills. I've been here my whole life.
Man. Listen, I remember.
I say this all the time.
Listen, I remember you, and you've always been very particular. I believe you either produced or coordinated one of the presentations during summer camp.
Yeah.
And it had to be exactly as you put it. You had the clipboard and everything.
I sure did. I mean, I don't play with it. I still work with children, and I'm still very like, with you know, I need a little help. I have to remember, like, you're working with kids, Renelle, calm down. But
oh man, well, I'm gonna tell you,
in me.
I believe a lot of that passion is what's got you to where you are today.
Yeah, so much.
Guys, that is Renelle Nicole. She's appearing in Friend Request, and as you guys know, July 11th, BET and BETher, 8/7 Central. Did I get that right?
Yep, that's it.
All right, make sure you guys check that out. It has been a pleasure for me. Thank you again for chatting with me.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, you're watching Country Club Hills, Channel 4, and that's Renelle Nicole. I'm Eric Booker. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. We'll see you soon.